Hello guys and welcome to my channel. My name is SPF30 and on this channel here we're talking about skincare, haircare and all those sort of things that are supposed to make you look good for a really long time. And today we're going to talk a little bit about young skin, because sometimes there are some young people and they are asking me what should they do when they have sort of like acne prone skin and that sort of a thing. And yes, of course, when you are a young person, then you are in puberty and that sort of thing, and there will be some imbalances in the body and you will have these sort of issues. But still there will always be that person from the other class or someone else in the class, and it's just like they have perfect skin. So why is that? Well, we are all a little bit different, but the main issue is that when you are having your skin sort of like in a perfect sort of balance, then you will sort of like limit the amount of spots you will be getting. So how can you get your skin into have sort of like a nice balance? That is when you are having your skin producing ceramides, because if you lack ceramides in your skin, I mean, we all have them, but some have more than others. But if you don't have enough, then your skin most likely will be sort of like dry, and your skin will sort of like start to produce a lot of sebum, and then you are actually feeding the acne bacteria on the skin. So the point here is that in order to deal best possible with something like acne, then actually you need to be sure that your skin is producing ceramides, and you would not like to overstrip your skin, because the more you are stripping your skin with some sort of like a cleansing wash or thing, then you are actually making the problem even worse. And it might be that you're thinking, well, you have a really oily skin, so how can I have a dry skin as well? Well, when your body is producing a lot of sebum, then it is because your skin is basically dry, so it starts to sort of like produce a lot of sebum in order to try and hold in moisture. So the thing is that you would like to sort of like shift the balance so that your body is producing ceramides instead of having a lot of sebum being produced in your skin. So how can you actually do that? Well, I've spoken about ceramides before, and you can see some of those videos about that. But today we're going to talk a little bit about how you can sort of like be gentle when you are washing your face, because that is basically really important. Now the thing is that when you go out shopping, then there might be a lot of products and they say they are very gentle on the skin, but I'm assure that you, as well as I, have tried a lot of gentle face washes, and it turns out that they are not as gentle as you think they would be. So today I'm going to show you something so that you can make that is making a gentle wash even more gentle, or actually gentle, because we are going to talk about a product today that I've spoken about before, and that is this micellar gel wash here from Simple, and it is supposed to be for dry skin, so you would expect it to be something that is really sort of like really gentle on the skin. Now I use this to wash my hair with, but I would not use it on my skin. And actually this is so that I find this is so strong that I actually use it to clean the oven. So yes, it tells you a little bit about how tough this stuff actually is. So what I have done lately is that I have mixed it with this sort of like a mineral oil, and that is basically an oil that is very safe to use on your skin. It will not clog your pores and that sort of thing. So what I have done lately is that I have taken, and why have I done this lately? Not because I have a lot of spots and pimples to deal with. I did this because there was someone that asked me what to do, and before I tell people what I would do in that situation, I actually try it on my skin myself. So I would take a little bit of the mineral oil, and then I would take a little bit of the micellar gel wash. So how much would I take? I would take an amount like this, and then I would take an even amount or similar amount of the mineral oil, as you can see here, and then I will simply just, it looks like that, just mix the whole thing together, and then I would just put it on my face, and then just like rub it in and take makeup away, and mascara, even waterproof mascara, because this is micellar water and is a mineral oil, and it will take away waterproof mascara. So you just sort of like mix it together, and then you are mixing it onto your skin, and then it takes a couple of seconds, and then it sort of like starts to dry up a little bit. But before it does that, you are adding a little bit of some water. So always lukewarm water when you're dealing with your face, because you don't want a lot of hot water on your skin, because it just like dry out the skin, it will damage the moisture barrier, and definitely don't want that. So what would I do after that? that I have foamed it up with a little bit of water. Then I've actually used a microfiber cloth, and it looks like this, and we've spoken about them before. So I would again just take lukewarm water and take the stuff off, and then you might feel that there is a little bit of some sort of like a layer of mineral oil on the skin, but it is actually a good thing, because that would actually hold back moisture in the skin, so it's sort of like a retained moisture in the skin. So you basically don't want to overstrip your skin, so that whole process here would not overstrip your skin. It will be left with a little bit of a very thin coat of mineral oil on the skin, so that's a good thing. So now, if you still have some pimples, if you would like to do something about that, well, I would use something like azelaic acid, and we have spoken about azelaic acid before. I'm pretty sure you have heard a lot about it, and it sort of like it declogs the pores. That is basically the way it works. But there is some of them, they contain a lot of dimethicone, and I think the one from The Ordinary, I would think that when I use it, I think there is too much dimethicone in it to be used on the face, because when you're using a moisturizer on top, then maybe that moisturizer have a little bit of difficulty sinking in. So just like sometimes the dimethicone can be a little bit too much. So I looked for some products that does not contain dimethicone, and then I found this one here from the Q&A, and it is an 8% azelaic acid, and you cannot see that on the product, but I actually contacted them and asked them, and they said there is 8% in this one here. Then there is this one here from the Inkey list, and there is 10% azelaic acid in it, and these two here, they do not contain dimethicone, so it's sort of like a very easy to use on the skin, and it doesn't give this sort of like silky sort of like a feel on the skin as a dimethicone does. And therefore, when you have used something like this, then you're sort of like gently washing your face when you have mixed it with this mineral oil. But then when you like to declog the pores, you can use this stuff here, and that would be sort of like a gentle way of declogging the pores. But there might be some people saying that, well, they have actually tried azelaic acid before, and it was a little bit too tough on the skin. But what you can then do is that you can basically put your moisturizer on first, and then just use a product like this, which is just 8%. Then you can use that on the areas that is the most problematic areas. But when you're using the moisturizer first, then it should be a little bit of a barrier, so that your skin can tolerate azelaic acid a lot better. And when you get a little bit used to it, then maybe you can start to reverse it. Now, the whole thing about cleaning your skin in this sort of like a gentle way is that over a little period of time, your skin sort of like starts to be more in balance, and then you will see that you will not have so many spots as you used to have. So the whole thing is about keeping your skin in balance, and that is the best thing you can do in order to sort of like help with acne. Now, we are not talking about it's like severe acne where some people have huge issues, but still, if you have huge issues, then something like this should be the thing that you would like to do. It might be there are other things you need to do as well if it is sort of like a really severe acne. But for the average person that are just having pimples when they are teenagers, and they might think, oh, I have a little bit more than others, but it's not like full-blown acne, like super issues like that. It's more like, yes, I would like to do a little bit so I can just look like the other ones that just have a sit now and then. And there might be some people that never have a sit because the days when they have a sit, they don't go to school. Now, well, the thing is that you would like to lock in all this sort of like a moisture after you have done this sort of thing here. And when you have washed your face, you would like to put on your moisturizer relatively quick. So you don't want your skin to sort of like dry up and then put your moisturizer on, because you would like to lock in moisture. And one thing you can do, I've spoken about a cream before from Pimples, and this one here, Le Crème Fluide. And that is sort of like a light version of the Le Crème Concentré, which is sort of like really oily sort of thing. But what I have done is that I've taken sort of like 2/3 of this one here, and then I've mixed it with this one here. And yes, it is a foot cream, but the thing about this foot cream here is that it is actually designed so that when you put it on your feet, you don't want something that is really sort of like greasy and slippery. So it actually comes up rather matte on the face. But if you just use this one here on your face, well, you can do that, but if you are doing that, then it can be a little bit difficult to sort of like smear out. And I will say that if you add a little bit of this one here, maybe half and half, or as I said before, like 2/3 of this one here, and then just 1/3 of this one here, then you will get sort of like a matte sort of a look. Now another thing is that how often should you wash your face? Because you might be so that you're thinking that when you have a spot, it's just like about just washing it as much as possible, and then hopefully it will sort of like go away, but it will just get worse and worse if you do it like that. So what I do is that I only wash my face in the evening, and then I put all these sort of serums and creams and that sort of thing on that I'm using with the age that I have now. But if you are a young person, then obviously your serum will be containing something like this. So azelaic acid. So what I would do if I was in the situation where I was a teenager and needed to deal with pimples. I mean, there are adult people as well who have what is called adult acne as well. But what I do is that I wash my face this way here in the evening, and then I put this creams on that I need to put on, and then I don't wash my face in the morning. I just sort of like clean my eyes and do basic sort of stuff, but I don't wash my skin. And then I will be using a sunscreen. So the only thing I will be putting on my skin in the morning would be a sunscreen, and I use this one here from Riemann, so the P20, and that is called sensitive skin, and it is an SPF30. So I would be using 1 milliliter for my face, and if I'm putting it on my neck, I would use a little bit more, so it'll be sort of like a 1.25 milliliter. And I would say this one here contains some of these modern filters, and I think that when you have a product like this with modern filters, then we don't have all these salicylates in it. That's what I appreciate about a product like this. Yes, it will be a little bit sort of greasy, but I think compared to what the product is doing, I don't think it's overwhelmingly greasy. So I would say that when you have actually used this one here in the evening, then some of this mattifying stuff in this one here would actually still be on your skin. It would just help a little bit, not a whole lot, but it will help a little bit in order to not make this one here overwhelmingly shiny. So yes, that is what I would do. So one thing I have actually done today is that I have also scrubbed my face. So how would I do that? Well, I have spoken before about how you can use something like a coffee grinds. So you have these sort of like yes, it is just normal coffee, and that you can use in order to scrub your face, and I have done that today. And there is just that little thing, when you are using something like these two products here, then you get a really nice slippery sort of thing, and sort of like a thickness. So when you're using something like a coffee grounds, you can either, if you want to be on the safe side, you can take some of these tea strainers, and then you can just use it as a sieve, so you get some really nice stuff. But usually I don't bother with that. I just use this very finely ground coffee stuff, and then I just am very gentle on my skin. So you don't want to use something that is really rough on your skin. So you have to be very gentle with your hands, and you can sort of like feel your way, and then you could just wash that stuff away. And I've done that all over my body today basically, and did that on my face as well, and then just wash the whole thing off. So that is an inexpensive way of sort of like scrubbing your face, but obviously you don't want to use something that is too rough on your skin, and after a little while this stuff here will sort of like take up moisture, and sort of like starts to be a little bit more soft. And obviously you don't want to use something like that with just rough on your skin. You sort of like have it in some sort of like a watery stuff, and then you just add a little bit, not a whole lot, because you don't want some like a solid paste. You just want a little bit in it, and then you could just sort of like gently go over your face. That is what I often do. So yes, that was my little tip here if you are having some sort of like acne prone skin. So these things here, they will help you sort of like strip your skin of these sort of like pimples, in the sense that if you have something like azelaic acid, then it will actually sort of like declog your pores, and something like the coffee grinds, they will sort of like take away dead skin cells in a sort of like a gentle way, if you are doing it in a gentle way, obviously, because you don't want to put too much pressure on the skin when you're using something like that. And don't do it too often. So I would say maybe just once a week or something like that. But yes, something like this, mixing these two things here, and then using a microfiber cloth to take the whole thing away in the evening, and then just don't do anything in the morning. Then I'm pretty sure that after a little while your skin will sort of like balance itself, and then you will sort of like see that you're not producing that much sebum, and maybe you're starting to produce a little bit more of these ceramides instead. And have a look at one of these videos where I'm talking about ceramides, because that is the way that you are actually helping your body in order to produce these ceramides in the first place. Because it could actually be that if you have this sort of like acne issue and you're thinking, well, I'm just eating what other people are eating, so why am I having all these sort of issues? Maybe it's just that your body has a little bit more of difficulties with producing these sort of ceramides, and then you can actually help the body to produce a little bit more of it, and that should sort of like help with your skin. But still, obviously, yes, if you are a teenager, I mean, you will have a spot now and then, but obviously you don't want to have a routine where you are basically making the problem worse than it should be. So yes, I would say something like this is something that is sort of like a very gentle, and it is relatively inexpensive compared to what very expensive sort of like skincare routines could actually be. So this is sort of like really sort of like straightforward, and you can buy this stuff just in your local shop, or yeah, very easily online. So yes, if you would like to see more of this sort of videos, please subscribe, hit the bell, and do all the things you must do in order to be notified when I upload more of this sort of videos. Thank you for watching. See you. Bye.